Hello, everyone. Thanks for making the time to join us this evening. My name is Michael, and I'm the events coordinator and publicist at Annie Bloom's Books. For those of you who aren't familiar with the store, we're located at 7834 Southwest Capitol Highway in Multnomah Village in Portland, Oregon. We've been around for a little over 40 years now, and we are still plugging along despite all of the many wonderful things that are going on in the world these days. Whew. Hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. And again, thanks for being here. Our store is currently closed to browsing, but our website is always open. So you can head on over there. There's a button down there at the bottom of the screen where you can find these wonderful poets' books at annieblooms.com and many other books, of course. We offer curbside pickup, local delivery, and shipping. You can order books for yourself or for your friends for now, for the holidays. All right, that's my pitch for that. We are delighted to be hosting Gina Williams, Dan Raphael, and Christopher Luna. Signed copies of their books are available through Annie Bloom's. I think we have signed copies of most of them. Click on that link and put a little note there in the comments section. And if you want a signed copy, and we can also do free gift wrapping. After the reading portion of the event, there's going to be a Q&A session. There is another button down there at the bottom of the screen that says ask a question. You can click on that at any time during the event and type in your question there, and it'll keep it in a queue until we're ready to do the Q&A, so it won't get lost in the chat section over there. All right, so our first poet this evening is going to be Dan Raphael. He's reading from his newest book, his 23rd book, called Moving with Envy. And there's a blurb about it from our other poet, Christopher Luna, who says, "What a pleasure it is to accompany Dan Raphael as he perambulates through our stunningly beautiful world in which the sun is in our mind, our windows are covered with crows, and a cliff removes its shirt, each rib 1,000 years. Put moving with every is a peek into the mind of one of the Pacific Northwest's most singular voices, and a welcome reminder of all that is possible to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell when we go deviceless, as we sit here on our devices right now." All right, let's get Dan Raphael up onto the screen here.
Hey, thanks to you and Annie Blooms. Thanks to Gina for setting this up. Thanks to all of you out there listening. Weird times. Start with an early poem from the book written in Central Oregon. Suburbia. Owl on a tightrope, 6 grosbeaks for dinner. How a seagull thrown properly will always come back. No matter how strong you are, you can't lift a crow. When the eagle entered the bar, everything got quiet, even the starlings at the pool table. This isn't the right town to be a ground squirrel. Grouse have nothing to hide, just act that way. Last year, everyone dressed like chickadees. This year, we're all robins. The waxwing needed spare change to keep migrating. No matter what station I turn to, all I hear is red-winged blackbirds. He might claim to be a goldeneye, but I know a loon when I see one. And coming back to Portland, back to my Woodstock neighborhood, Selwood. Quote, "I hear the music of sorcerers trapped in the bowels of herons." George Hitchcock. Heron sightings rare for me, occasionally near the river where I seldom go. Music is everywhere, but most all of it pours directly to single pairs of ears, leaking whispers and fuzzy bass. Actual sorcerers don't show their hands, unlike would-be apprentices thinking smartphones are wands. Yet 10-year-old conversations suddenly revealed multiple identities, threads that spark a deja vu you can't walk around. My wings camouflaged as a plaid shirt, all my willpower keeping me from going through the fish market window. I want a coat that keeps out the cold, but lets music flow both ways undistorted. I want glasses that let me see what's swimming beneath the surface, what's flying barely treetop, invisible against the sky that doesn't bother to dress because so few ever look at it. A bass riff twitches through my fingertips like a perch just close enough to surface. I don't usually talk about between poems, even when there's an audience to talk with, but thank you all for being here. One step away from being like nothing else. When opening the door makes the house go away. Wings shaped like clouds, birds louder than 747s. Like my breath only goes 2/3 the way up, higher stories no one visits, so harsh and delicate and hobbled time, so many seeds, no rodent Magellans imagining a spring fresh sprinkler system living in an aquarium of mist. How the floors wiggle is a tactile illusion, like a breeze across a lake when all the fish holding their breaths. Everyone lives in bubbles, on bubbles, agreeing that asphalt is solid and we breathe air instead of information. The complex soil of my brain, crop rotation versus addiction, someone else's root hair stuck between my teeth. Keep digging until you feel the sun, the hamster's warm ratings than elsewhere. Even without a face, I breathe, though I've never summited myself. An immeasurable glacier enfolded in my cortex, safe from global warming. When I stick a finger into outer space to check the temperature, my finger implodes, cleaner than vacuum. A collision so powerful we'll never know all the consequences, like love. Like jumping until the ground becomes a river and pulls me down the drain. A Teflon dry suit so I can swim across asphalt. Each breath requires more memory than will, like a dog asking to be let out this night of the funky moon. With 1/10 of a cow fanning around me, making deliveries, lighting fires, completing puzzles. Got that sun in me, that feedlot, mountains of captivity, no moons permitted. The only lights in the night sky are man-made, random flares of spontaneous combustion, my muscles muscling, my bones imagining the breeze, my thirsty heart the faint cries of help me from the water, captive in the faucet of some restaurant kitchen. I'm a sparrow with big hands. I'm a stretch of April stream where thousands of handheld bottles are trying to capture for resale. Since it's September, I had to read this one. Loud, dark September morning. Is this the last summer? The ocean's gone, we don't know where. All the cars leaving town. Air so cold, too cold for my lungs. Heavy, but they can't push back. Sinking past my intestines, my feet spreading like a 360-degree waterfall. In vague anticipation, I open all the doors and windows, try to tell their walls they're free now. Run! 1 minute I'm in a valley, next I'm on a treeless hill, horizon curving out too indistinct to set a foot on. If I reach out, my hand won't stop till it touches something, someone so far away it disconnects from my body. I can't see it. I'm smoke 100 wasps have gone through. No sound, no flavor. I can't get up. I can't lie down. Can't solve the riddle because I'm inside it. This barren existence whose core is a crisp thread, a filament without current. As if in a box, but which way is up? A different house where mine was yesterday. How they look at me. How what comes out of my mouth is a foul odor, not language. All the houses slide away from me. The rooftops of a large city fill the sky, sinking like a chunky fog, a huge complex boot sole. Yeah, poetry is its own explanation. or the times around us, and again, weird dark times. The whole continent's ours. No one's legal, no one's naked, no one can eat that much. Careful what river you try to stomp flat as the wings inside a mound of hesitation. When the car's impatient to run out of gas, to go beyond electricity and close enough to the oily, starless sky, flaming fingers lighting cigarettes no one smokes. As a mirror opens like a Venetian blind and closes into two large eyes, hungry without mouth or breathing. How this frying pan could be a form of transportation, a pharmaceutical tongue twisting, waiting for the room to dissolve in dry, thirsty ash, where dry leaves conquer anarchic mud swings, satellite mattresses with nothing flat to orbit, the shape of the lake on my upturned soul. Why, every time the elevator door opens, it's a beautiful forest I can't step in or smell, hearing a childhood bird. When I grasp the doorknobs, an affirmative action without consent, nostrils spreading like reservoir. Perfect car doors waiting for a reason to incandesce, parked 5 feet under a frothing tide, retinas swelling when the monitors refuse to deliver anything. What can we bring them, draw for them on newly thickened air? As if anyone could pour blood without spilling any, reversing the proportion of V8 to vodka, cubes of frozen opium, stir stick antenna. The lime is recording everything. That wasn't my receipt I just signed. Already doors are opening. A large man in riot gear beckons me to join him. Yeah, but that's the thing I like about this book is it just seems more current than past ones, a little less abstract. But there's always the weather, possible winters. The highway never stops. Asphalt's thermal stress and release, dry trees nullifying the wind's stealth. Doesn't make sense to see a cat moving and hear nothing. Most people move like pages in a flip book, descending simultaneous mirrored staircases, our LED suits flickering like crushed foil moss. My forehead shivers while my feet are music or asleep, taking a walk with me. My thin lungs, overzealous thighs, thinking they belong underground, swimming through the thickest possible, below the man-made clouds of culverts, cables, and unedited paths without the noise of roots where pressure's a lubricant. Not sure if light is anesthetic or stimulant, making cold more tolerable, as if I could taste what I hadn't seen, mystery dumplings dissolving in my mouth, releasing what might still be able to move, might start a small fire of vegetable aroma, produces a thin grit, the opposite of salt, taking water hostage, compressing smoke into diagnosis. Every billboard is a moon. How the same ingredients make 85% of our world. How each of our teeth could be a city block with several businesses trading through nerves and saliva. No customers, no doors, no coffee breaks. You could be blinded every time my mouth opens. A sky some turn away from, some refuse to believe. Others keep their cameras running just in case, having the flooding, the chewable rain, the fingers and devices that never apologize. Crows on the frozen grass extend their wings like Edwardian capes, engulfing several other layers, not peeling away like a sarong or a blanket wrapped around someone just pulled from a January river, the car that slid off the road still bubbling for help. And I'll close my reading as the book closes with this poem where I got the title partially from a famous motivational poster. dancing like nobody's watching in a constant surveillance world. When all the music's made us deaf, all the dancing and runnings put us on wheels, I feel a bass I can't see or hear. My bones metallicized by a rust-belt childhood. Bridge cable phones need at least 12 miles an hour wind to start a rhythm. How many gulls and crows, the black and white keys, chords of brown sparrows, yellow finches and cardinals no blender can dissolve. The sun's shining, but I couldn't afford my subscription, my prescription. The faucet runs 2 random hours a day with a row of paint chips adjacent to tell me how much I can drink without a rupture. Walls devolving into glass-free windows and unframed doors, as if this patch of abdominal skin can go another day without washing. But when are safe warm hours to sit in the laundromat with exposed muscles and viscera while my skin goes beyond the delicate cycle? Mom's old curlers rise above the city like cell towers, growing and dividing. Mitotic bubbles of unclaimed and rejected messages rain like jellyfish. With so many offers, invitations, why do you never answer? That's not a light switch. This only looks like a handgun. Anything can be a lighter, a letter opener, salt and pepper shakers responsible for 3 miracles and 10,000 lunches. When I stop looking at the clock and the sky, my skin breaks out in sunlight. If I don't like how the wind smells, 10 minutes will bring another food cart. All the cars replaced with teleporters, but old freeway noise tracks maintain the roar that prevents our imagination from flooding out of us so quickly our instrument could choose sides or at least be severely damaged. We're home. We're hungry 3 ways. The extra bedroom's always busy, as if we live in a silo, a cornucopia where the inventory's in constant flux and filament. In this new green world where all the rainwater goes right to the brewery, I snap open a couple cans to hear, see, and smell the clouds releasing. Clouds looking for a good time, a time they're not subject to or object of. How could the ancients have described marvelous sunsets when they couldn't see blue and the air was pre-industrial? Some visionary Roman turned mad as he saw the Appian Way become the Autobahn, a highway with no exits but plenty of tolls, toll drones scanning your credit and gone spectrum. As if any scan could tell what I dance like, how high I can jump, how many genera established in the hanging gardens of my lungs, how the only reason my thumbs don't fly south is I need them as spoons. When all the music embargoes the outside while focusing my body on the moment, partners in a ritual of earth drums, city bass, eyes flashing brass, finger reeds, heartstrings, off the charts and in the groove. I'll never do these moves again, and I don't need to. When they cut the power, police the streets, sever my legs, pour recycled aluminum in my ears, I'll dance even more vigorously, intently, unstoppable. No one will get near me. The music only gets louder. Thanks for being here.
That was great. Wow. So awesome. Thank you. All right. Are we ready for our next poet? Dan Raphael actually wrote the blurb for Portland poet Christopher Luna. His latest collection is Message from the Vessel in a Dream. And here's the quote from Dan Raphael. How many Christopher Lunas are there? The bard, the community dynamo, the scholar, the compassionate one, the jazz quartet, the father and lover, the world of a man. All and more are speaking in this book. So many perspectives to experience here, so much to learn about literature, attitude, action, and beauty. The maestro of Ghost Town has created a bustling, radiant, and necessary environment. Cool. All right, let's have Christopher Luna come up here. Welcome, Christopher.
Thank you, Michael. So glad to be here. Hope everyone can hear okay. I'm going to start with a poem from the book Message from the Vessel in a Dream. It's called Bi-Coastal Devotion. I'm dedicating it to my friends and family in New York on the 19th anniversary of September 11th. Bi-Coastal Devotion, which starts with a quote from Patti Smith's Just Kids. In the war of magic and religion, is magic ultimately the victor? Perhaps priest and magician were once one, but the priest, learning humility in the face of God, discarded the spell for prayer. Robert trusted in the law of empathy, by which he could, by his will, transfer himself into an object or a work of art, and thus he did not feel redeemed by the work he did. He did not seek redemption. He sought to see what others did not, the projection of his imagination. Patti Smith. I have an image of the Virgin in my home, a memory of Truck Darling in my heart, not the first kept woman to have found her salvation in Islam. Have formed allegiance in a second to Cedar Sigo, Robert Mapplethorpe, and Patti Smith, pressed together in my bag, entwined limbs, commingled hearts, entangled in a demigod's embrace. There were temptations and witches and demons we never dreamed of, and there was splendor we only partially imagined. Page 288. Look on as moments blossom, bear fruit, wither, and die, only to be replaced by further moments. Our friendship continues to open like a calla lily, forming a canopy in which to catch the sun. When at last all our moments have come to an end, look over your shoulder again to glimpse the kids we are and were. Playing dress-up, listening to the Velvet Underground, digging Larry River, arm in arm on the Coney Island boardwalk, smiling for endless snapshots. No time to mourn, undaunted, unbowed, faraway towers burst through concrete to shoot toward the sky, reborn, determined never again to squander the light. Message from the Vessel in a Dream, available at Annie Bloom's Books. And the rest of the poems I'm going to read to you tonight are from the National Poetry Month. So I wrote a poem a month. I'm not going to be reading all of them, but a selection of the poems that I wrote during that month. And as you might imagine, they were quite topical this time around. I received daily email dispatches from Barbara Lynn in New York City, my lifeline since 1986. My best friend since she sat down at the desk in front of me in English class on her first day at Longwood High School. All these years later, still showing me how to be human, sharing a quotation from Zen sage Alan Watts. No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going on. Oh, how I love to hear you breathe, connected yet separated, the distance between us, safety or danger, depending upon invisible, temporarily, or so we are promised, to encourage calm among the populace. We have always been in the midst of this existential crisis, just not at the same time. Video chat with my self-quarantined son. Reptile dad stares into the void, looking for evidence of his progeny. Monolithic black strip hums, pregnant with nothingness, triggering a memory of the night decades ago when his own father allowed him to stay up past his bedtime to witness the dawn of man in the living room of the apartment built atop his father and mother's house. It's full of stars. You cannot buy the revolution. You cannot make the revolution. You can only be the revolution. It is in your spirit, or it is nowhere. Ursula K. Le Guin. No growth without suffering, no evolution without letting go of habit-forming thoughts. Cannot help until you imagine the other as your mother. Begin, transformation, spin, experience the benign vertigo of new worlds being born. Listening lesson. Face to face with intuition's solemn whisper, thoughts oscillate between order and disarray, wisdom and nonsense, paranoia and suffering engendered by the hubris of ignoring your spirit's directive, resisting the path until it is lost in the fog of Maya. Rose raises her eyes to the heavens, tells us we are angels. In search of a line, collaborating on each other's creations from our respective locations, and she sings to us, and we laugh together, encourage and reassure. Eventually, the work takes a turn toward the real, summoned by our virtual fellowship, our remote connection forged from our collective loneliness, and a hunger to name all that which we had suppressed, to give voice to the fear, the hurt, and the rage that threatens daily to devour the spirit like a virus. Each of us driven by an innate compulsion to tell the stories that will save us. The endless search for the perfect word, the precise choice, a sigil with the weight to convey the roiling hunger of this skin, the loneliness of the human heart dying without the reassurance of a hand upon our flesh. Premillennialist jackpot. Some motherfuckers may not admit that this is the apocalypse they prayed for, complete with Antichrist. You got your plague, your anarchy, collapse of civilization, except there won't be no rapture, no white Jesus coming for to carry them home. For Tony, who suggested we write love poems to each other after reading Kenneth Patchen's poems for Miriam. When I see my little cupcake smile, I want to be the reason for all that joy, the man who can see the little girl in saddle shoes and brings her the moon because the queen of all my dreams deserves it. Let's dance and make love and laugh and argue and discuss the state of the world and kiss and hold hands and read poems to each other. Savoring each and every present moment we have before ourselves betray us. The title of this next one comes from Rob Bresney's Free Will Astrology, a Virgo horoscope, which is my horoscope, week of April 9. All the hottest action and most valuable lessons will be blooming in the fertile darkness. The soul is a tough one for me, born with a skepticism as undeniable as breathing. Still, the search never moves in a linear direction. Empathy may be impossible when our very existence is in question, our worth so diminished by capitalism and language hijacking, slowly eradicating. Once toward reality again, these countless corpses become cradles of compassion when we function on a belief that we're all together. Poem beginning and ending with lines by Leah Class. We are all running to something, even when forced by circumstance to be still, indoors, at home, with all the time necessary to turn inside out, to examine who and what you truly are. Beyond commerce, beyond the tasks you so dutifully complete for the benefit of your master, as terrifying as facing yourself for the first time can be, it is important to see that this time with yourself may seed a radical transformation, personal evolution, and possibly even liberation. Joy is our ticket. I have suppressed the content of this nightmare in order to survive the daily shit show of a country with a madman in charge, rapist, bully, hater of all not rich and or white. Turn off his daily campaign ad, billed as press briefings. The man has no ideology, no love of country. He seeks only to annihilate all that is good. Go outside, check on your more vulnerable neighbors. We will need to be united to fight what comes next. That's getting us close to the end of the month, if you can remember what was going on at the end of April. I certainly can't. There will be another this into that. Assume that half of what you think about it is bullshit, and you may become clear enough to actually see. The question of readiness. These are not easy times. Every illusion fractures as the context floats away, and one is faced with what remains. Deep fear, a lot of pain, the self such as it is. It may have been some time since you were acquainted, or it may be the first time you've met. Do you like what you see? What makes an individual valuable? Barbelin Cantone. How does one measure it? How to properly respect our complexities, the fractal web of our many contradictions? Does a person's value increase according to our knowledge of their actions? There is so much we never see. Close your eyes. Envision the enemy. Make a list of your judgments. Would your choices survive the same scrutiny? Is your conscience clear? Have you managed to make it this far without hurting anyone? Without making any mistakes? Can you let go of their imagined transgressions? The pulse. Steel type swings down with force enough to strike through the aching emptiness of the blank sheet in repose, enough to cause the page to ripple with a quiver, then allow you to flip her over, trembling in anticipation of the next offering, the impression of 1,000 sigils dripping in reverse. These leaves of grass yawp as they reverberate with the promise of the dawn. We need extra more for my niece, Coraline Luna, up-and-coming poet. I want more, extra more smiles, love, hugs, empathy, understanding. Extra more will see us through our time of separation, the touched and the felt, the solidarity born of our solitude, and the daily reminder of our need for each other. Stay safe, stay cool, stay home, dream of extra more good times ahead. Poem beginning and ending with wisdom from Ai Weiwei. How to escape the common daily burden. Relax, think, pick up materials, assemble something that did not exist before you conceived of it. A made thing that could have no origin other than your heart, your mind, your spirit. Step back, become audience, smile, ingratiated, pleased with yourself. Moments later, doubt and dissatisfaction inevitably creep back, and your endless search for meaning, your eternal agony, is rekindled, just a human consumed by yearning and vision, still trying to escape control. Pandemic Poetry Paradox. Although personal expression is my vocation, I feel a visceral reluctance to mentioning the blessing of my living situation. A partner who loves me, cares for me, enjoys my company enough to fantasize about me staying home permanently. In this era of unquestioned oversharing, wouldn't it be cruel to be too candid about my good fortune? Your president wants you dead, infected, veins filled with disinfectant, starving, destitute, intubated, suffering, because you ignored the scientists in favor of the thug who daily destroys our democracy. Your president, not mine. I have one more, and before that, I just want to say thank you to Gina and Dan and Annie Bloom's Books for having me. Really happy to be on this bill, and really pleased to be with all of you and have a chance to share some of what I've been up to. This is the last one. We won't soon forget the spring we stayed inside to stay alive, alone, together. For answers or good news, writing, sobbing, worrying, waiting for the nightmare to end, paying for the sins of the corrupt and the willfully ignorant. Thank you very much.
All right, that was great. Thanks, Christopher. And our last poet of the evening is Gina Williams. An Unwavering Horizon is her collection. Is a finely crafted collection that explores perspectives and understandings often missed in the hustle and crush of everyday life. The beautiful things, the ugly things, the poetry of things. Williams takes an honest, questioning look at the hard realities of the human condition, from family crisis to war to our precarious place in the natural world, while also seeking answers and offering hope for the future. Jonathan Starke, editor of Palooka and author of You've Got Something Coming, writes, Williams channels the hardships of existence through a lightning voice of empathy and illumination, pure and crisp and sure of its subjects. the rough love of family, the fleeting nature of memory, the winding road of illness, the harsh screams of war, the sorrow of lost connection, and the ever-eroding hope for a better world. The highly visual imagery and lyrical yet grounded poetry of An Unwavering Horizon takes the reader on a satisfying and thought-provoking journey through the natural and human elements of earth/truth, spirit/power, air/love, and water/wisdom. Sounds cool. All right, let's get Gina Williams up here to read from her collection. Gina.
Hello, everyone. I wish I could hear the people out there. It's so strange.
I'm going, woo, Gina! Yay.
We need the fake noise like they're doing on the NFL games right now. Well, thank you, Annie Blooms. I can't thank you enough for your support of local authors. I'm so appreciative. And I did a book order with curbside pickup the other day, and it was awesome. Excellent customer service, of course, and I'm just so appreciated. And I cannot wait to come back in person, hopefully in the not too distant future, and browse the shelves again. So, and thank you, Christopher and Dan, for being here as well, and everyone out there. So I'm going to read a few poems from An Unwavering Horizon that was published earlier this year, and then I'll read a few more recent ones. This first one is called Burial at Sea. A moody trout is a dead trout, my grandfather said, his lower lip stuffed with a wad of wintergreen chew. Mist flowed across the water as he pulled the oars gently. I watched every move, took in every word from my seat atop the orange boat cushion, feet small and squirming in the gum boots, chosen from a jumble in Grandpa's shed. Years later, I recalled those sepia days, all golden, alder leaf, spin and reel, fisher, philosopher, cold blue sky, knit cap hug, and hot, sweet thermos tea with a bittersweet backdrop of box cello suites, so achingly perfect, floating them along. Thing is, a sullen fish just don't last long, he'd announce. Then spit tar like a perturbed grasshopper over the bow. Good for us. Winter seeped in. Sorry. That's my husband, Brad. He thinks I need more lighting.
You need to be all fuzzy. You're not showing up very well. It's not very clear.
Okay. How's that? Is that better? Can someone tell me if that's better? I think we got it, Brad. My father, alone and far away, too slow to run, lost to a sniper's bullet. Winter does these things to fish and men. A moody trout is a dead trout, is a lost soul, is a wandering fool, is a sinking boat. Grandpa taught me to bait the hook, set the rod, dip the net, break the net, slit the belly, peel the guts, turn the boat toward the cove and wait in the shadows, wait it out. I guess that's what we're all doing right now, a little bit, waiting it out. And I'm not sure if my son Nick is out there somewhere, but this is a poem I wrote about an experience with him. The farthest you can go. My son tells me the first thing he wants to do when he graduates from high school is get in a car and drive across the country. As he tells me this, he cradles his guitar, slim fingers picking at the strings as if they are questions. I'd like to check out Maine. This sounds somewhat ridiculous. Maine? Why Maine? An icy wind blows the Chinese chimes on the back porch. The cat wants in. When I open the back door, cold air races across my bare toes. I tuck in a piece of tired, loose hair behind my ear and say, I know how good it feels to just get in a car and go on. I've done that before. But what I want to say is, take me. Take me with you. I've never been to Maine. He begins playing the song on his guitar. And though I know he began leaving me the moment he left me, the very moment he was born, I still cry for the things I know. Too many things I don't want to be true. Finally, I ask, why Maine? He doesn't answer, strums a few final chords. I recognize the song, but can't remember the words. Later, I will look them up. Later, I will not understand another part of him. Because it's the farthest I can go, he finally says. He puts the guitar in the stand, but my ears still echo the sounds of him as he runs his hand through his hair, walks over, gives me a little shove, the way boys do. Thank you. And this is a poem I wrote for a dear friend who is a nurse. It's called Nurse Tree, and I just want to say thank you to all the first responders out there. There's a lot of work being done, so many levels. Nurse Tree. Winter gusts punch ancient cedar. She sways, groans, heartwood cracks. Wind moans like a wounded creature, blasts from the north. Sleet needles her face, ice frosts tired branches. Snow quilts a thick blanket atop her shivering roots. In the dead of night, a final brutal shove sends her crashing atop the forest floor. A violent tumble, limbs thrash, earth shudders, silence. Morning ribbons through misted canopy like prayers. A varied thrush flutes in the treetops. Fern spores drift into her pores. Seeds swell against her mouth. Fungi soften her edges. Infant trees will sink tiny roots into her nourishing flesh. Rain pools along her edges. A rabbit takes shelter beneath her trunk. She is the sum of what's come before, a gift to the future, a giving bridge across the river of life. Let's see. This one, when I go on road trips with my husband, Brad, I'm kind of a nerd. So I like to travel with this Geographic Place Names of Oregon book. But there aren't many indigenous place names included in this book. And so I started doing research and started a new series called Place Name Series to try to remedy that. So this one is called People of the Sky, Alvord Desert, Oregon. My favorite place on planet Earth so far. People of the Sky. Obsidian flakes shimmer against a melting wax sunrise. Snow-dusted steams mountain. Saedi, the cold one, glows rose and amethyst to the west. Toes curl against cool temple floor of cracked, windswept playa. Coyote tracks in dried mud lead me deep into the sage. We've claimed this place, my lover and I, but perhaps it cannot claim us. The land of the Paiute, Tsitsiati, those who live in the cold. A spark catches my eye, amber-colored bird point at the base of an anthill. Tiny glass sphere in my palm, no bigger than a dime. Worlds collide in the soft, silent belly of a dust devil. Hush. You can hear them singing. Thousands of years between this craftsman and me. All that dreaming. Tonight, we'll slip beneath our wool wedding blanket, watch the Milky Way explode across the sky, cling bravely to one another, listen for ghosts as our rock tumbles in eternal wobbling orbit around a dying sun. Thank you. And now another tree poem that was published in High Shelf Journal, which is also a Portland-based journal. It's called Near Light. The epigraph is, quote, "In our leisure, we reveal what kind of people we are." Ovid. Remember climbing trees, hands sticky with pitch, ripped jeans, spine curved into a crook. Ignoring hurried calls for supper time from below, forgetting the grief down there, soothed by the tree's embrace, sugared sky, singing leaves, praying for wings. I think we all wish we had wings at this time. And I'm going to do one more. This is from a new series I'm working on that's all about numbers. The working title is the Numbers series, but it's all about the horrors of what happens in society when people are assigned numbers, prisoner numbers, Nazi tattoo numbers, immigration numbers, miles of pipeline, minutes left, various things like that. What happens in a world where we are hemmed in and penned in by numbers. And that's called Earned Riches. Take a quick drink. Earned riches, epigraph, quote, "The greatest riches in all America have arisen from our blood and tears. And will they drive us from our property and homes which we have earned with our blood?" David Walker's Appeal, 1829. 1. A body stolen of breath cannot sing, cannot rise up, appeal, witness. A body stilled in the street over a petty charge, punished by public execution, white knee of authority, pressed into the neck as a crowd gathers, films, pleads for help. 8 minutes, 46 seconds, silence. 2. A body stolen of breath cannot run, cannot flee fast enough, far enough to defend itself against bullets, bombs, ropes, drugs, dogs. A body, beautiful, black body, stilled in the street, hunted. A body stolen of breath cannot delight in a simple jog, escape into some kind of freedom, cool evening breeze on the face, sweetness of magnolia perfumed air, heart racing the body toward a better day. 3. A body stolen of breath cannot dance, cannot hug a brother, turn the other cheek, kiss a baby girl goodnight, plead for mercy, cannot say, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." A body destroyed cannot whisper, "I love you, and I love you," worlds, in wonder at the burn of another sunrise, comfort of mother's arms. 4. A body stolen of breath cannot march, cannot return fire, file charges. A body stolen of breath cannot teach, preach a better way to heaven. Thank you.
That was great. All right, let's bring all the poets up on the screen here.
Yeah.
And ta-da, there's everyone.
All four.
That was great reading, everyone. Do folks have questions for our wonderful poets? There are no official ask a question questions, but feel free to ask one now. Or you can make a statement. Clapping is good.
Yeah, like most poets, we have all of the answers. Yes, we're glad that Michael's here. Michael published my book and also Dan's book, and we're really glad
that he's safe and alive.
That they're safe and alive, and everybody's okay, because they were pretty close to what was going on down there. And yeah, and thank you to Flowstone Press for existing and publishing good books.
All right, well.
Yes. So I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So Christopher, what's the new series you have? Is there a new book coming, or?
Oh, a new book from me? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Or the new poem you were reading?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those may become a book at some point, but those are just the poems that I wrote for the Poem a Day thing for April. I have 3 manuscripts. 2 are full length, and 1 is a chapbook that I'm sort of shopping around. But I don't have anything that is, that's been accepted yet to announce. And my full length version of Ghost Town USA has had 2 potential publishers who needed to drop it for one reason or another, and so I'm back to the drawing board of sending those around and hoping to find someone that wants it. But I think it's going to be pretty fantastic once it does come out, because it's gone through many, many years of editing, So I started that in 2004, and wrapped it up around 10 years later. So it's as ready to go as a manuscript is going to get at this point. But anyway, thank you for asking.
Good to hear.
How about you others? Do you have manuscripts that are you're submitting to presses or that are almost done?
I'm almost done with the chapbook series to submit.
Cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, I have a full length one I've tried a couple places called 3-door, and one of the 3 parts I've submitted as a chapbook, and it's poems from 3 different places in the world where I'd visited, so kind of 3 by 3. So we'll see.
Cool. Sounds like a good concept.
Yeah. Worked out. But thank you, Annie Williams.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you. And thanks for everyone for joining us. Safe and healthy and doing the best that they can. And hope to see you at another reading in the near future.
Absolutely.
And this recording will be archived here at the same spot, so you can come back and watch it again, or point other friends to it, and they can come and watch it. We also have a YouTube channel now that's on our website. You can link to that from there and watch this reading and another reading.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.